rebound. Pacers have to work quick. Again, no timeouts. There's a long three by Lillard.
Yeah, baby.
Got it to Trent. Taken by Nembhard.
Nice job by Nembhard to get there to take it.
Pacers still have a chance. Haliburton has it. 20 seconds to play.
They don't mind him getting a layup.
And he'll lay it in and a foul.
Now they mind because it's a three-point play. They got to foul it.
Into Green. And out of bounds. Trent lost it.
He lost it.
8 seconds. Haliburton against Giannis. Haliburton. 3 seconds. Puts it in. He put it in. 1 3/10.
There's no timeout.
No timeouts for the Bucks. Giannis to inbound.
Not happening.
Here's Trent.
Great victory for these guys. What a heck of a victory. Struggle.
Doc Rivers. He never fails. He never fails to choke. 3 things are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Doc Rivers blowing games in the NBA playoffs. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about how Doc Rivers has a massive meltdown in the NBA playoffs again. Once again, a Doc Rivers coach team found a way to blow another playoff game in embarrassing fashion. To put things in context, the Bucks were up against the Pacers by the score of 118-111 with 39 seconds left in overtime and found a way to lose that game in embarrassing fashion. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Did the Bucks choke in Game 5 prove Doc Rivers to be an overrated head coach? Absolutely. This is just another piece of evidence that supports the narrative that Doc Rivers is an overrated head coach. You can make all the excuses you want to with Doc Rivers, but no matter how many teams Doc Rivers is on, no matter how many stars Doc Rivers has had to work with, no matter the talent Doc Rivers has had to work with, every single time it ends in embarrassing fashion. It's not in the traditional sense that you get blown out by 30 points to end the season, but it's even worse in some ways because he gives you a lot of hope that you're going to come out of that game victorious, and then he'll find a way to absolutely blow the game. I know Doc Rivers fanboys are going to be butthurt when I say this, but Doc Rivers is the problem in the NBA playoffs. Am I saying Doc Rivers is a scrub head coach? Of course not. Doc Rivers has led his teams to numerous 45-plus win seasons, and he has won over 1,000 games in his coaching career. However, when you have to consider the amount of talent Doc Rivers has had to work with over the years, the fact Doc Rivers only has 1 ring to show for it just tells you how much of an underachiever he has been throughout his time in the NBA. You also look at how there have only been 13 blown 3-1 leads in NBA history. Doc Rivers is responsible for 3 of those. That's pretty insane to me. And when he has done it on multiple teams, it's pretty clear who is the problem, because there is a common denominator, and you can blame all the superstars you want. You can blame all the role players you want, but there has always been one constant in the room: Doc Rivers. And last night was a perfect example of that. You're up 7 points and you should be able to win Game 5, get Game 6 back to Milwaukee, but instead your defense has an absolute collapse and your offense doesn't really have a clue on what to do in critical situations. Your job as the head coach is to not panic in critical situations, and Doc Rivers failed tremendously at that. How do you get in a situation where you're up by 7 points with 39 seconds left to go and you end up losing that game in the same period? How do you blow a lead that fast in that little amount of time? Let me tell you guys what happened in that situation. So right now the Bucks, they're up 118-111. Indiana gets the ball back. They take a quick 3. They make the shot. Obviously, Milwaukee, they call a timeout. They try to get everything scrambled up. Then they end up turning over the basketball. Indiana gets the ball back. Tyrese Haliburton scores. They end up drawing and one. He makes the free throw. It's 118-117. The Bucks burn up their last timeout. Then the Bucks get the ball back, and Gary Trent Jr. turns over the basketball not once but twice. The Pacers, they get the ball back. Tyrese Haliburton, he hits the game-winning shot. The final score of this game is 119-118. The Bucks got themselves in this position, and they self-destructed, just like how a Doc Rivers team usually self-destructs. It's really no different than the Orlando Magic blowing a 3-1 lead under Doc Rivers. It's really no different than the Boston Celtics blowing a 3-2 lead with Doc Rivers back in the 2012 NBA playoffs against the Miami Heat. And it's no different than Doc Rivers blowing not one but two different 3-1 leads in LA. Obviously, Doc Rivers has been the common denominator for these choke jobs. He also was a choker in Philadelphia. At this point, Doc Rivers is who he is. I expect Doc Rivers to get fired from the Bucks sooner rather than later. Do I think they're actually going to do it? I don't know, but they absolutely should do it. I also want to show you guys this clip of JJ Redick going off on Doc Rivers a couple of years ago. I thought what JJ Redick said was accurate at the time, although I was surprised it came from his own mouth, considering the fact that he was a former player of Doc Rivers. But I thought he made several good points when ranting about Doc Rivers. Roll the film.
Side note real quick, no one's going to react to Doc's audio there. We've been 7 minutes since we showed that audio. Nobody's going to react to Doc's audio?
Do you want me to get it repeated for you?
You don't have to repeat it. We don't have to repeat it.
I can repeat it.
I've seen the trend now. I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it. But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy. There's never accountability.
Thank you!
There you go, JJ Redick. I'm glad somebody finally called out Doc Rivers' choke jobs, although I don't believe this is the right person to be saying this, considering that he was part of a blown 3-1 squad on the LA Clippers, but that's neither here nor there. What JJ Redick said about Doc Rivers was mostly right. Doc Rivers is responsible for these blown leads in the NBA playoffs. Even Doc Rivers fanboys cannot defend what happened last night. If I was to tell you that Giannis Antetokounmpo only won one playoff series after winning his first championship in Milwaukee, you guys probably would have drug tested me and said that I was spewing our hatred towards Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks, but that is exactly what they have done since winning the championship. The mismanagement of the Bucks organization needs to be highlighted here, and it's really their fault for hiring Doc Rivers, because we already knew what Doc Rivers was and wasn't as a head coach. Obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks failed Giannis Antetokounmpo in that regard. This is now the second straight year the Bucks have lost in the NBA playoffs against the Pacers. Quite frankly, the results the Bucks have been putting in the NBA playoffs is just simply not good enough. At the end of the day, it falls on the head coach and management for butchering up the Giannis Antetokounmpo era, because he has only won one NBA championship during that time in Milwaukee. Obviously, what the Bucks did in firing Mike Budenholzer and eventually landing up with Doc Rivers was their self-destruction. Let that be a lesson to other organizations moving forward, that Doc Rivers is indeed not that guy. He proved that he wasn't the guy in Orlando. He proved that he underachieved with a big three in Boston. He proved that he wasn't the guy on the LA Clippers, and he definitely proved that he wasn't that guy in Philadelphia. What made the Milwaukee Bucks think that he was going to be any different on their organization? Doc Rivers has shown who he is for over 2 decades. If the Milwaukee Bucks get rid of Doc Rivers today, they will be better off for it. I know that much. So that is why the Bucks choking Game 5 proved Doc Rivers to be an overrated head coach, as Doc Rivers is the master of pulling off choke jobs in the NBA playoffs. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm gonna shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.